Jesus.
So the first prediction, you want to know what the first prediction was that we got right? So there's a little bit of an outrage right now because do you know who Anthony Bourdain was?
Yeah.
So Anthony Bourdain killed himself. They made a movie about him, or a documentary or something. Anyway, and there's a line in the movie that it's Anthony Bourdain's voice, but Anthony Bourdain never said what they had him read his suicide note or something in the movie. And he never said the words out loud. So there's outrage over the fact that he never spoke those words. He only wrote them. And yet they have it in the movie because they fed a computer a bunch of, recordings of his voice, and the computer deep faked his voice. I shit you not. They deep faked his voice and people are pissed about it.
You know what? That just gave me an idea. I'm going to go make a movie and it's going to star Paul Walker and Anthony Bourdain.
But in a way, that would actually be dope as fuck.
It kind of would, but
if you could get two people to sign releases, right? I don't, because you could have like a Rick and Morty style show, but with real people, and it's fucking crazy because the whole thing is deep faked, Yeah. Like the thing with Rick and Morty, South Park, Family Guy, and all these shows like this, they can get away with some crazy ass shit because it's a cartoon, so it's not real. But you could take that to the next level by getting two people to, sign the waivers to like allow, their personalities to be,
Well, I don't think Paul Walker and Anthony Bourdain are going to be signing that away.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, it could be two live people, It could be Vin Diesel and Gordon Ramsay. I don't know.
What are you making, gay porn or something?
I mean, maybe if they're down. I'd probably make a lot of money off of that.
What do you mean deep fake? Oh, we're in for this.
How deep?
Oh my God. The whiskey shot is paying off.
But I mean, at some point you could make a whole movie that looks like real people, but none of it is real.
Yeah, 100% you could. Probably take a lot of GPUs, which are unavailable, but
because you know what your machine learning is more proud of than that Lamborghini? It's
my
books.
Shout out to Tai. Come on our podcast. I've actually heard he's really an interesting guy. Like, he's a super nice guy.
He just knows you have to be a tool on YouTube to make any money.
I don't even know. So I'm like, originally I thought like this guy's one of those fucking charlatans who's just trying to like steal your money for stupid ass shit. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I don't know. He might actually have legitimate advice or legitimate stuff that he's trying to sell. And I think he does, honestly. Yeah. But I don't know anything about him. He just seems like
a tool.
Hella douchey,
Yeah. Honestly, though, we've shit on him a little bit. But if you wanted to come on the podcast, I would totally be like,
hell yeah.
Let's have a conversation.
Hell yeah. I would talk to him.
Let's talk about your books.
Yeah. What books do you like? I mean, I find it really interesting to look up people's favorite books. Like if you look up Elon Musk's 10 favorite books and stuff like that, like I like to see what other people read and what they think is important because I could learn from it, It's like that whole concept of your mentors or whatever, whoever you aspire to be like, whether it's Elon Musk or the douchebag of all douchebags, Jeff Bezos or whatever, figure out what books they read and read those books too.
Did you see that like NASA is redefining what an astronaut is so that way they can't have the astronaut title?
Okay, so first of all, what was the previous definition of an astronaut? Just anyone who had been to space? Or
I honestly don't know.
I was not aware of that to answer your question.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I only saw the headline kind of thing. It was like one of those like suggested articles, and it was like NASA changes, definition of astronaut as, these three amigos are, racing each other to space kind of thing, yeah, because like the one guy, I forget what his name is. What's the guy from JetBlue or whatever, the CEO or owner of JetBlue?
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I know. I forget his name. But anyway, he was like technically the first one, and like Bezos was pissed about it. But he went to like low space. And so a bunch of people were like, nah, he didn't really go to space. He went to low space. And so Bezos goes up, and I think he went a little bit further, but still wasn't like outer space. And so people are like, these guys aren't going to space. Meanwhile, Elon still hasn't gone because his goal is to go to outer space. Like he's not just going to like the atmosphere. He's going beyond the atmosphere kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And I find it interesting.
So is Elon actually planning to go to space?
Oh, yeah. 100%. He's going to go. Anyway, but I find it interesting because in like the 60s and 70s and stuff, there was huge space race, right? And even as a kid, I wondered about this. Like, why was it so significant to go to space? Because what have we accomplished from our, probably trillions of dollars spent, going to space? I'm sure there are some things I'm not aware of, probably the majority of it, but like legitimately, we've got a flag on the moon. Cool. Now what? It's like, what was the point of that? The point was to beat Russia, to have the biggest dick on the, planet.
Well, originally, yeah.
Yeah. And, but like Russia beat us into space, but then we beat them to the moon. And so it was like this, like, it was a pissing contest between the world powers, China.
Well, pissing contests or not, like it's actually pretty impressive how fast the US went from not even being in the space race to like, oh yeah, we're going to the moon. Like, wasn't it like a decade or so?
I don't remember exactly.
I mean, that's insane in my mind, how quickly we were able to accomplish that.
On less computing power than our cell phones have.
On less computing power than a $20 Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
So
anyway, so that was like it was a big fucking deal just because it was like, hey, we want to have the biggest dick on the planet. And not much has come up. I mean, like now pretty much everybody has shut down their space programs until these private guys have restarted it. But now what you're seeing is Russia, China, and the US is now Elon, Bezos, and this other guy, which I should fucking look up his name. It's Branson. Richard Branson.
Oh, yeah. No, there's actually
Virgin Galactic, not JetBlue. I'm a dumbass.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering what I thought maybe he was also the CEO of JetBlue because I was like, I thought the CEO of Virgin Galactic was the one that went to space.
Yeah, but, I'm a dumbass.
So anyways, a lot actually has come out of the space race. Like actually going to space has allowed us the ability to see outside of our
to prove
our planet.
The flat earthers wrong.
Right, exactly. But also they actually do a lot of scientific studies. Oh yeah, they run scientific studies on the space station. And so like gravity affects basically everything. So they can run different experiments on the space station that they can't run on Earth. And there's a lot of interesting things that happen in space, like just the way, bacteria grows or different things like viruses survive. I'm probably making half the shit up. I don't know specifics, but I know there's certain things that they can study in space in the absence of gravity that they can't study the same way on Earth. Even the way it affects human health and how a human reacts and different things, like it's pretty weird. Like they talk about how when you're in space, like originally, like when you first go up in space, the astronauts, their like head swells up and shit because there's no counter pressure on all the blood vessels and different things. So like they actually like get this effect where they kind of like swell up at first, and you know, it obviously feels pretty uncomfortable. And the first couple of days they're adjusting to the atmosphere or lack thereof, and it's completely different. And then as they adjust, then it's normal again. But there's a lot of interesting things that can be learned from space. But ultimately, I would say the goal is just more exploration of the universe. What else is out there? Are there elements on other planets that we don't know of? Or are they lacking elements that we have that, you know, make our planet special? What can we learn from that? How many planets have water? What kind of things like that we could learn? So in my opinion, yeah, there's definitely a point to going to space.
Well, and yes, but I'm just like, at the time, it was a pissing contest. Stick. And they went to the moon, accurate, which we still have not really like
verified. Do we actually know they went to the moon?
So,
oh, here we go.
There's actually, this
is why Kevin should be here, right?
Yes, actually, this is from Kevin. I was talking to him about this yesterday. He was saying that there are fake videos of them going to the moon out there, even though they really did, and they have the real videos out there or whatever, because it was something to do with like the Russians were like such tryhards and wanted to be first, you know, that they actually killed a bunch of people.
That the Russians killed people?
Yeah, like they killed their own people, sending them to space, and then they would fail, and then the rocket would blow up or whatever the case was, right? So they killed a bunch of their people.
Yeah, imagine being an astronaut in Russia. Yeah, that's the worst job ever.
It's a suicide job.
Yeah. It's like Japanese kamikazes.
Yeah, basically. But anyway, so the U.S., I forget what it was exactly. They were going, but they weren't sure what the outcome was going to be. And so they had like fake stuff ready to just like protect themselves from Russia knowing that shit went wrong or something. Like, I don't know. It was weird.
Well, I don't know if this was ever actually verified. I don't know if this is true. I can't even remember what my source is, but I'll just say this because it was interesting to me. They claimed that, yes, the U.S. actually did go to space, but the video and pictures, or they went to the moon, I'm sorry, but the videos and pictures that we were shown were not actually on the moon. Like they filmed that part in the studio. So they basically were like, yeah, we did go, but they faked the photos and videos because they couldn't actually record that on the moon. And I don't remember what their justification for why they couldn't record on the moon, but it was like they needed to show the world, yes, we did it, but they couldn't actually record video or take pictures up there.
Yeah.
But they just faked it in the studio. But they actually did go to the moon. So